And staying on with the Gen Z protests in Africa, let's turn our attention to Morocco. Protesters have called for a fresh, peaceful protest to push for reforms in education and health sectors. The youth collective GenZ 212 has been the driving force behind more than 2 weeks of near-nightly protests across the kingdom. The leaderless tech-savvy group has called on young Moroccans to take part in sit-ins over the weekend in cities across the country. Protests broke out in the kingdom last month after the deaths of 8 pregnant women during caesarean sections at a hospital in Agadir. The incident fueled public anger over the dire state of health facilities in the kingdom. Protesters have slammed the government for spending billions of dollars on the preparation of the 2030 FIFA World Cup at the cost of basic services. Morocco is also set to host the African Cup of Nations later this year. Now, high spending on sporting events is not the only thing that has anguished the Moroccans. Public anger has also been mounting over the government's failure to provide assistance to survivors of the deadly 2023 earthquake.
We claim our rights to education and health care. These are rights, not privileges. We have no use for stadiums. And when you look at the residents of House who have still received nothing, but the stadium was built and completed quickly. In my village, near Tarudin, we have neither a hospital nor a pharmacy.
Moroccans have also criticized the government for the poor state of the education system, alleged corruption and misplaced priorities. The protest came to a pause last week ahead of the address of the King Mohammed. Now, in his speech at the opening of the country's parliament session, the king made the call for accelerating reforms to create jobs for young people, improve public services, and to reduce regional inequalities. However, he refrained from directly addressing the youth-led protests.
There should be no contradiction or competition between major national projects and social programs, as long as the goal is to develop the country and improve the living conditions of citizens, wherever they may be.
The youth-led demonstrations, which have largely been peaceful, turned deadly earlier this month, when at least 3 people were killed in clashes with the security forces. The incident had further fueled the public outrage, and since the protests broke out last month, police have made dozens of arrests. And as the youth-led protests swept the kingdom, criminals and thieves have tried to take advantage of the chaos and have indulged in vandalism and violence. The youth collective behind the protest has distanced itself from such incidents, urging protesters to push for reforms peacefully. Anger by the dire state of health and education sectors, the young Moroccans have been calling for the resignation of the Prime Minister Aziz Akanouche. The protesters have also ignored his calls for dialogue. The anger among young Moroccans is echoing the anti-government protests elsewhere in Africa and in Asia. Madagascar's government has already paid the price for ignoring the calls for change and reforms. It remains to be seen if Morocco goes down the same path or does any better than Madagascar.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all 3 just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.